Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. This is William Hyman, your host, and this is Just Force 911, where we look at how our public officials do their job where they completely and totally screw it up. Hey, tonight we have one from Here's the Deal. I try not to use other commentators' stuff just because they're already doing it, but this one here is exactly what I've been talking about the corruption and the blue line attitude and the blue shield that they hide behind. A off-duty police officer, drunk, goes through blockades where they're working on a traffic area and says, I can do this because I'm a cop. No, you can't. If you're off duty, you cannot go through unless you have lights and sirens and a reason for it. You can't do it just because you're a cop because I'm a sovereign citizen. No, you cannot do that, sovereign citizen. Sorry. Scumbag cops, sovereign citizens cannot do that unless it's lights and sirens and you're going in an emergency. And even then, it gets really dicey. Okay? But the worst part is that two of the workers that held this cop until the other cop showed up, which held him for 4 hours, let him sober up, and then drive away, have arrested the two workers that held him for kidnapping and assault of a public official. And then after the third guy did an interview, they arrested him. And all three are facing life sentence charges. Now, once again, okay, we're going to go over these two things. One is if a public official breaks their oath of office, violates their oath of office, then it's a felony. Okay? The second one is if they charge you with something and it doesn't stick or gets kicked out by the DA, it goes back on the officer. This is nothing more than retaliation and a way to cover up for the cop being drunk and them trying to cover it up. Now, what makes this really crazy is that they have sealed the records so nobody can see them. I thought it was all public information. Oh, it is until it comes to a cop. Then it's sealed. Wow, what a system, man. Incredible. So, hey, do me a favor, subscribe if you already haven't done so. Hit the like and share. Helps my algorithms. Thumbs up, thumbs down, tells me how I do with you guys. And leave me a comment. And then go over to Here's the Deal. Check their stuff out. He has a lot of information that you guys might like. Tell him I sent you guys over there and check him out. Okay, let's get started on this one. Here we go.
Are you still under the delusion that this is the land of the free, home of the brave? Imagine facing life in prison after being assaulted by a drunk cop at this traffic intersection. Check out this crazy story.
A road worker who claimed to me he was assaulted by an angry driver was arrested 1 hour before he was able to tell us his story. It happened in South County Thursday, September 26th, where road crews are repaving sections of Lindbergh. The incident was here at the corner of Lindbergh and Lee May Ferry, where this left turn lane was coned off, and there was a temporary sign in the middle of the road saying no left turn because all of the lanes you see highlighted were closed. A safety worker claimed an angry driver pulled into this blocked off portion and assaulted him. But that worker was arrested right before our interview, charged as the aggressor.
I didn't think this road was going to be very bad.
23-year-old Garrett Gibbs was working for a different contractor nearby.
Now, stay tuned about this Garrett Gibbs guy, because while he was one of the workers on the scene, he wasn't arrested at this point yet because he's obviously free doing this interview. The second thing I want to point out is that there are traffic cameras on all 4 street lights at this traffic intersection. So we should be able to get the video about what exactly happened during this confrontation.
Watched the argument for probably 10, 15 seconds, and then I noticed that the door was open and the guy was outside of his vehicle. And that's pretty hefty, a guy getting outside of his vehicle in a work zone. It's like somebody coming into your office and and causing a problem, you know? He wanted to turn and he kept saying that he was a police officer so he can make that turn.
Gibbs snapped this picture of the driver's car with a temp tag that appears to have expired a few days prior. Gibbs says the car is inside their work zone. You can see the no left turn sign to the right.
You know, in case this dude does something crazy or drives through the work zone, hits somebody, you know, I've got something.
Gibbs said he tried to calm things down.
The off-duty officer then took a swing at one of the workers, the one I was standing in between, and he missed him and he actually hit me. He caught me right in the mouth here.
He described he and 2 other workers holding the driver until police arrived.
They cuffed him and then we had to go back to work, but they proceeded to talk to him in our work zone because this happened around 10:30. They kept him inside of our work zone until 3 o'clock whenever we picked it up.
After 4.5 hours waiting in that work zone, Gibbs says St. Louis County Police let the man drive off.
I don't believe he was...
It almost sounds like they kept the cop, his fellow officers kept this drunk officer in the work zone for 4 hours. Maybe they were giving him water to dilute his system and get him sober before they allowed him to drive away. I'm not saying that is absolutely what happened, but I would not put it past the police to do that to cover for the Thin Blue Line gang buddy.
He was breathalyzed. I don't know if the car was searched or anything, so the officers were informed that we believed he was drunk.
Police say they won't tell us who that off-duty officer was or if he was breathalyzed. Gibbs says he and his co-workers were never questioned. 10 days later, police arrested 2 of them, Matt Devlin and Donnie Hurley. They're now charged with assault, kidnapping, and armed criminal action. The record is sealed. It's as if this case does not exist, despite the fact 2 road workers are now in the St. Louis County Justice Center behind me, facing possibly decades in prison.
Why would the case be sealed? What's going on here? Is this a case of crooked prosecutors and crooked judges looking out for crooked police officers?
Employer for Gibbs and Devlin, NB West, wrote me, "We are deeply concerned about the work zone incident that transpired on the evening of September 26th. In response, we initiated a comprehensive internal investigation to thoroughly understand the circumstances surrounding the events. Our commitment is unwavering to maintain a safe, respectful, and supportive work environment for all employees and the traveling public."
Almost every day it seems like there's a road worker getting killed.
Defendant Matt Devlin's wife, Celeste, thought she would be hearing about the driver.
For violating road construction. There's all kinds of laws that he broke prior to the altercation even happening. You know, he went through all the traffic cones, all the safety devices that these people put up, he went through them.
That's that qualified immunity entitlement mentality that police officers have. Like Brianna Strauss said at Federal Way, I can drive 90 miles an hour. You can't. I can go in that construction zone and endanger safety workers. You can't.
Despite the fact the record is sealed, the defendants still get their day in court. So I came to see the judge who monitors first appearances and learned that defendant Devlin is being held on a $250,000 cash-only bond, defendant Hurley on a $100,000 cash-only bond, and will return here next week when their attorneys will argue for a bond reduction and the court will have to provide more answers.
$250,000 cash-only bond, $100,000 cash-only bond. But wait, there's more.
Police arrest a 3rd road worker today in connection with the work zone assault case we first told you about Wednesday. He is the worker who raised concerns about the arrest of 2 of his colleagues in an exclusive interview with Fox Files investigator Chris Hayes.
And then I noticed that the door was open and the guy was outside of his vehicle.
Road worker Garrett Gibbs is now locked up on criminal charges that could get him life in prison.
They arrested this guy after he gave the interview. All 3 are facing life in prison for a drunk cop getting out in an intersection and taking swings at him.
Wednesday, he spoke out about the arrest of his 2 colleagues for an assault in a work zone here at Lindbergh and Lemay. Gibbs says they were the ones attacked by a man they claimed was an off-duty police officer, insisting on driving through their work zone.
Our equipment was actually on this road right here, so he would have turned into an active work zone with workers standing in the middle of the road. The off-duty officer then took a swing at one of the workers, the one I was standing in between, and he missed him and he actually hit me.
This interview appeared on Fox 2 Wednesday night. At about noon Thursday, police swarmed Gibbs as he was driving his work truck. Gibbs was arrested here on Elm Avenue in Webster Groves, where we counted about 7 undercover police cars. Gibbs' mother said police were also at their fence.
Look, I don't know if you saw this, but up on the tow truck, they got this guy's work truck. Look at this. They're towing the work truck away. The cops swarm like he was involved in some kind of mass shooting or something.
About 7 undercover police cars. Gibbs' mother said police were also at their Fenton family home serving a search warrant. The court records now unsealed with this third arrest.
A search warrant? Wait a second. What was the probable cause to get a search warrant? What was the specific place or the things to be seized in that search warrant? What judge signed off on the search warrant?
St. Louis County Police providing this booking photo of road worker Matthew Devlin, saying he used repeated racial slurs while screaming at the victim, including stupid N-word and go back to the hood with your gold chain.
You know, that's horrible language. I don't endorse that kind of language, but don't we have a First Amendment right to freedom of speech and say whatever we want to in a public place?
Police claiming he struck the victim in the head with a hard hat. Police also providing...
I wonder if he struck him in the head with a hard hat in defense. I don't know what happened here. I haven't seen the video. I haven't seen any evidence. I've seen the testimony of this guy. I've seen the testimony of the other guy. We're going to see the testimony of the police department. We just saw some testimony from the police department. I don't know what actually happened, but I would not put it past that off-duty cop to have been drunk and to get out, get his feelings hurt, and start taking a swing at these guys.
Connie Hurley's booking photo, alleging he and Gibbs held the victim down while Devlin, quote, beat him with a hard hat. Court records say the off-duty officer victim said he was choking at one point, pleading with the workers he could not breathe and that officers interrupted the fight. Gibbs had volunteered to us in our previous interview that Devlin did use a hateful racial slur.
He did say one thing that the officer kept repeating, if I wasn't a cop, I'd be right now. Matt said to him, well, you're not acting like a cop, you're acting like a, and it was the hard R.
Devlin's wife.
These guys need to shut the frick up. These guys need to stop talking and stop testifying against their friend. And now the wife is going to get into this.
Also acknowledged it.
I am not super proud of the fact that it was used. You know, I am not, I don't agree with that.
Gibbs maintained none of them are guilty of the assault and kidnapping charges they face. They'll be in court next week.
Okay, so there's one more report. This is 45 seconds long.
3 construction workers are charged after authorities say they assaulted an off-duty St. Louis County police officer. St. Louis County prosecutors have charged these 3 men, Matthew Delvin, Garrett Gibbs, and...
I'll just say this right now. I don't believe the prosecutor. I don't believe the judge. I don't believe the police department. They are all known to lie.
Donnie Hurley Jr. Right now they are in the St. Louis County Jail. According to St. Louis County Police, the incident happened back in September at South Lindbergh and Lemay Ferry. Police say the area was under construction. The off-duty officer was in plain clothes driving in an unmarked vehicle, entered an area where the traffic cones were placed. At that time, a verbal exchange ended up happening. Police said they were told by witnesses Devlin used repeated racial slurs toward the off-duty officer, and then things got physical. Additional officers arrived and were able to stop that assault.
All right, well, let's see that body cam footage. I want to see the light pole camera footage. What do you guys think? Is this a case, another case of crooked prosecutors and crooked judges looking out for and covering for crooked cops? Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comments section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know, and I'll see you in the next video.
Wow, this is going to be a good one, guys. So I'll keep an eye out and let you guys know how this ends up. It just seems like another, yep, let's cover our ass, guys. I don't know. We'll see. Let's hope not. You guys have a good day. Thank you.